So I feel like I talk about Elon Musk a lot and stuff he's doing, but you know, talking about like, things that he does I think are like stupid or whatever. Is not like a new thing. Or actually, last time I talked about him, if anything, was defending him kind of because it was about that stuff his dad said about him. So if anything, I think I was kind of defending him. But anyway, this recent thing though is something that's not really like stupid that he did, but it's something possibly illegal that he did or potentially. I mean, I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to use definitive statements, but at least I feel like maybe people should look into it at the very least. So anyway, according to Newsweek, with this recent Wisconsin judicial election, Elon started a new program where he promised to give two $1 million checks to voters who backed his petition against activist judges, which is kind of just a term for like liberal judges for most people who use it, to be honest. But anyway, if you remember last Tuesday, there was an election for the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat. And anyway, I think that, I mean, if you remember the liberal candidate won. Although, I guess to say, I feel like some people are kind of making too big of a deal out of that, acting like it's the beginning of Trump's downfall or Elon's downfall or whatever. I mean, it was just a local judicial election. It was a seat held by the Democrats. Not like the Republicans picked, like it was held by the Republicans and they picked it up. So it doesn't make that big of a difference. I mean, maybe it makes a big difference in terms of politics, in terms of, I mean, if the Republican won, people are making the case that there was a chance abortion could be found illegal in Wisconsin. So I guess there's reasoning to why it was important. But I don't know, some people kind of made too big of a deal out of it. But anyway, Elon holding this whole $2 million check program during the election for supporting his position. I think there's kind of a law against that, buying votes maybe, but I don't know. Elon kind of is the law, so I guess maybe it's not against the law. And at this point, he can write the laws at this point. So anyway, I guess I'm not the only one who thought that was illegal or had a problem with it, because, or I guess I am the only one basically, because the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to hear a case on the payments. And I guess that kind of shows the election didn't really matter, since even with a liberal majority, I mean, the court didn't see a problem with vote buying, that's what you want to call it. So I guess if you want to rig elections, I mean, you know what state to move to, that's all I'm saying. Or if you want to get involved in some dubious activities, then you know what state to head over to. But anyway, he did have an ironclad explanation, though, Elon, which I guess is the other reason he didn't get charged and nothing happened. Because at the event he said, a recent rally he went to on Saturday, he said, quote, the reason for the checks is that it's really just to get attention. It's like we need to get attention, and somewhat inevitably, when I do these things, it causes the legacy media to kind of lose their minds, and they'll run it on every news channel. Yeah, I mean, we kind of went over it earlier, but yeah, to piss off the left is kind of a pretty common explanation for behavior among a lot of conservatives nowadays. And I mean, it kind of pisses people off because it's potentially illegal. I mean, yeah, they're like liberals or whatever who'd be upset with whatever he's doing, but I mean, this is like something where you might be breaking the law, Elon. You might want to roll back on the whole it just pisses off the left and that's why you do it thing. But there was more to the rally than just that, which is something else I wanted to kind of talk about, which is he held a rally for the conservative justice and he started getting heckled by someone in the crowd, which I mean, it's pretty obvious to predict considering how he's like a controversial figure. And Elon responded with, quote, "It was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George." So I guess, I don't know if it took him all day to come up with that one, but all right, whatever then. And I can't believe, frankly, in the year 2025, they were still doing this dumbass, like, George Soros conspiracy thing. Like, just in terms of he sent a guy personally to heckle Elon. I mean, is he doing that on the side when he's not running the country or whatever people think he does? Like, he's such a huge, powerful player that he's running the country like the Democratic Party. And then on the side, he's also sending people to heckle Elon for, I don't know, basically nothing. It's not like it did anything to affect the election. I mean, the Democrats won by enough that it was pretty obvious that didn't swing the election at all. So that's pretty, it's the idea that George sent someone over is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's kind of just like we kind of there's this statement of we live in a post-fact reality, which may be true in terms of like there's no evidence that George Soros had anything to do with this random heckler and he was just sent over to heckle Elon because, who else would do it, I guess. That's the other thing. Like, Elon, do you really think you're so like popular and beloved that no one would show up to heckle you? Like, no one would? I mean, come on, think about that for a second. Especially in Wisconsin, which is a pretty moderate state, it was pretty close in the last election. And it also has like pretty liberal leadership right now in terms of there's like a Democrat senator and Democrat governor and one of the senators is a Democrat, all that stuff. So yeah, it's not really that shocking that someone would heckle you, Elon, when you really think about it for a second. And also, what do people get upset about that George Soros is supposedly doing again? Which is that he's like a billionaire who has like a shadow government who's running the country behind closed doors. Well, I mean, I guess good to know Elon's against that. I wasn't aware at the time. But anyway, I feel like again we were talking about all the stuff going on with the democracy right now. In 2028, there's a good case to make that Trump could get elected to a third term and he could win, and he would serve that third term because by 2028. Well, first of all, I want to promise I'll be holding a promotion. Well, I'll give everyone who votes for me for president $10. And then on top of that, like I'll be the candidate against Trump, and whichever of us wins the Supreme Court, whether it has a liberal Supreme Court or a conservative Supreme Court, it really doesn't make a difference because whoever controls the court will just apparently doesn't have the power to stop me. So you got that to look forward to.